Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Tara, for that introduction. This is just a good time for me, anyway, to be able to share with you some resources that hopefully will contribute to some of the creative ways that you've tried to remain in touch with your students. I mean, you know, we don't have the opportunity to see them face to face too often anymore. Hopefully that will change as we become healthier and safer with this virus roaming the globe. But we had a number of curriculum partners reach out to us immediately after states were announcing shelter-in-place orders, and had a webinar offered in our Tuesday for Teachers webinar series pretty quickly afterwards. We had such an amazing response to it that we actually offered it for a couple of days. If you weren't able to join that webinar, then certainly the link to it is available on our website as well. But I thought it might be good to take advantage of your time today to just kind of share some of those resources that are new and free. Try to help support you in sharing those resources with your students, whether that's through Facebook Live or Zoom or email and that kind of thing. So that's really the focus of today. I've been talking with Tiara and the rest of the state staff about following up with some additional webinars where we can go a little bit deeper into strategies around content and success with the exam. It's been a while, I think, since we've been able to talk about some data. And so knowing that the conference has been postponed to the fall, just wanted to share with you some numbers currently. And I will say that I really kind of focused on the 2019 numbers. These reflect calendar year numbers because we really didn't get too far into 2020 before everybody's plans around testing sort of was incredibly disrupted. And so you'll see sort of the numbers for 2019. And then when I see you again in the fall, fingers crossed, we'll talk about 2020 data. Because I also wanted to take the time today to kind of talk to you about some of our testing solutions for folks that are looking to take the GED exam and complete that as well. So I think that'll be helpful to reassure your students that those opportunities are still available to them. In 2019, nationally, we saw almost 300,000 test takers and almost just shy of 200,000 completers, and the pass rate was about 79%. For Mississippi, we had 3,566 test takers. Of those, 2,509 completed the battery of tests, and we had a 70% pass rate. A little bit higher, statistically speaking, probably pretty consistent with 2018 in terms of the pass rate. This is one of the reasons I really want to take a look at how we can support instruction and instructional strategies for your students to experience greater success through future professional development. But I think, you know, there's an opportunity there for sure. Oh, this should have said Mississippi. I'm so sorry. I think I had text on the brain. For those of you who don't know, I live in San Antonio. So, but certainly this is definitely Mississippi. That Hispanic tester percentage kind of gives it away. It's significantly higher in Texas. But just a snapshot that we collect, it's all self-reported data. So of course, folks can decline to answer, but you know, it is a predominantly white population of testers, and about a third have identified as Black or African American. So I think what's interesting about this slide is that this is very close to our national average. It is predominantly male testers coming to your programs or coming to the test centers to take the GED exam. I think the national average is like 54%. So it's really, really close to the national average. And then The national average of a GED, average age of a GED tester is actually 27. So we have a much younger population taking the GED exam in Mississippi. You might have some insights knowing your students the way that you do as to what's motivating them to take the GED exam over the other choices that they have in the state. But I thought that was kind of interesting that it was a more youthful group. It also goes to some data that we have found in our outcomes where about 81 to 86% of students who took and passed the GED exam go to college. The average age is within that 18 to 24 age range. And I think that's probably pretty common compared to sort of, the typical 18 to 24-year-old as well. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I think over the years, you've become familiar with the fact that we do engage in quite a bit of research for different purposes. Sometimes it's really just to inform us of where the gaps are within the education and instruction so that we can better support students and educators. We have ongoing research to ensure that our exam is rigorous and valid and have the opportunity to continuously improve the measurements of those attributes. And certainly a lot of that data is available on our website as well and through the GED Manager. We're going to talk about that in a couple minutes. But we also wanted to ensure that folks who are looking for pathways into other credentialing programs or diploma programs have the ability to reach a certain level of academic success with the GED exam that supports that continued learning. So with that, of course, we have our passing score at 145. The college ready score is at 165 to 174, and that college ready credit plus is at 175. That's where colleges certainly have the opportunity to award credit, much like they would with someone that took an AP exam, for example, or a CLEP exam. And that score was validated and recommended by ACE several years ago. So in this era of like college and career pathways and that kind of thing, I thought that this kind of, these outcomes were interesting in the fact that what we're seeing is about 35% of GED graduates enroll in college within about a year. In each subsequent year, we see that enrollment increases over time. And I've seen this, with HSE exams for a number of years. And, what I'm thinking, and you might have more insights with some of the folks that that have taken the exam, when they come to you, they're kind of looking for that initial credential, whether it's, to sort of stabilize a job, get a job, that kind of thing, meet their immediate needs for employment, so that then they can begin to sort of think about what their long-term future might look like and what their long-term educational plans might look like. And so as we're able to meet our more immediate needs, we can start looking for those higher skills and development. And I think that's part of what we're seeing feeds into this growing percentage over time with folks returning to college. I was interested in this because from my days as a teacher, we have talked many, many times about what it takes for a student to go even from K-12 to college. And then you have adult education where K-12 completion was disrupted for a number of reasons. And anecdotally, the stories that I hear from adult learners and the teachers that support them is the level of determination and grit that they exhibit just to walk through the doors, to complete the exam and get that credential, and then to seek higher learning. So it's probably not a big surprise that once they accomplish the GED exam with the 2014 standards, they were seeing a higher persistence rate in folks from semester to semester. They're more academically prepared for the rigor of college. and able to persist and complete that over time. When you think about it, this sort of lends to sort of the educational standards and the changes that were made back in 2014 in high school equivalency testing, because before 2014, it was like less than a third of the students were able to persist semester to semester. So just some data to share with you, but really wanted to dig in a little deeper with those resources that I mentioned. The first that I'm going to mention is really for you as instructors and program directors. I've been talking with Beth and Tiara earlier this week about GED Manager and access to GED Manager that is available to you and the benefits of that. And we're going to follow up with some additional professional development around your access because instructors will have access to what we call Prep Connect, and program directors will have access to basically statewide data for all students. And GED Analytics provides them with demographic information, such as what I shared with you previously in the data slides. And so we developed GED Prep Connect really to focus on how we could support your efforts. And it occurred to me, with as many folks as I'm talking to across the country around this whole concept and shift to remote support. I don't even like to call it distance learning, because most states have always had a distance learning component that gave those students some flexibility to pursue their high school equivalency credential and the skills that they needed to advance their college careers. But Prep Connect allows you to identify those students who intend to take the GED exam, recruit them from the website. So anyone who hasn't yet found you but knows they want to take the GED exam can go to GED.com, create a profile, and in the process, they are asked if they would like some help preparing for the GED. And if so, then they can choose the program closest to them to enroll in class for that support. When you have, as an instructor, have access to Prep Connect, you can see the list of potential students, reach out to them with information on your enrollment dates or admission dates, that kind of thing, connect with them, bring them into the program, and begin to support them in their learning and preparation for GED. With that then means that you are able to look at their GED Ready scores when they take a GED Ready practice test. You're able to look up those score reports, print them, look at all the characteristics and information available around opportunities to remediate some skills and be better prepared. You're also able to look at their scores for GED exams. So you get both. And so for me, I just see it as a really great tool for you to retain and recruit students over time. And I think as we, sort of figure out what it means to relax social distancing rules, reopen, and re-engage personally with folks, this could be a really useful tool for you to make those connections and help, bring those folks closer to being ready to take the exam. So there's just a screenshot of what it looks like with their GED Ready and GED exam scores. The scores are reported for you. You can click on the exam and it'll bring up the score reports, etc. Your state staff has determined that every program and instructors are eligible for GED Prep Connect. There's a couple of things that you can do to gain access. The link on the screen is for the request form found on our website that identifies you, your role, your program, etc. That goes to our operations team and they'll just confirm with me that you are eligible, etc. And I just say yes, of course. The other way you could do it is email me, and you can jot down my email address anyway, just in case it's helpful to you, because I'd love to hear from you anytime. But you can email me, let me know who you are, where you're from, etc., and I will ensure that the operations team gets that as well. If you are a program director and you have like just a quick list of all of your instructors that you know you want access to Prep Connect, and you want to send me one email from a campus or a community college system, feel free to do that as well, because I can send a list en masse. What I need is the full name and email address at a minimum in order for operations team to set that up. And then what happens is they'll send you an email with confirmation that you've been enrolled with this access and a temporary password, so that you can log on and connect with Prep Connect. I will also send you a link to a tutorial. I think it's about 10 minutes long, but we can certainly dive in a little deeper as well together around your access and how to navigate through the screens to find those students who are looking for you and not yet enrolled, and then how to change that status from potential to enrolled student, etc. This changing their status just allows you to monitor their progress in a much more efficiently. So feel free to email me or use that request form. And I'm just going to take 1 minute in case anyone's trying to jot that down real quick. Okay. So, do you have folks who are ready to take the GED exam? Maybe they had a test scheduled previously and they just weren't able to keep that appointment, or the appointment was canceled due to test center closures, etc. I've been finding opportunities to speak with you and your colleagues around the state little by little. If I haven't spoken to you, I would love to. You can expect an email or a phone call from me at some point. But there are some test centers that either have reopened or are making plans to reopen, certainly at reduced capacity. And certainly taking in CDC guidelines, local jurisdiction orders, those kinds of things, where we know that life just isn't going to return to normal anytime soon. And so we have been working furiously to bring remote proctored testing available to students who want to take the GED exam. And it is through OnView, and it is by special invitation. We will be piloting it basically over several weeks or months. We're going to start with just a couple of states to ensure that the capacity is there, that work out any kinks in this new administration. And then just within a few days after that, when we get a sense of how things are flowing, states without a residency requirement, which would include Mississippi, will then also onboard. So I would expect OnView to be available to your students by the end of June, barring any like catastrophe that happens. But they've been, OnView has been around for a very long time. It's just a matter of making the GED exam available on that platform as well. We are going to prioritize students who were previously scheduled to test and those tests were canceled in March and April, etc. Testers who perhaps took 3 of the exams, passed them, and have that one last exam to take. Anyone who took the GED Ready practice test and scored green on it, and they've just been waiting for the opportunity to test. And then also those students who are, they're trying to make plans, and, colleges are still admitting students, military is still recruiting, they have some deadlines to meet. We want to make sure that they get the credential they need in order to move forward with their lives. And so these are sort of the 4 characteristics or qualifying criteria that our leadership identified for folks. We want people to have a GED ready green score so that there's some confidence that they are ready to pass it. So that's really pretty important for them to take the test on view. The cost is the same as the GED exam at any local test center. So hopefully this will give everyone an opportunity to move forward and find a sense of completion and kind of find a little bit more normalcy in life. Okay. And I'm not watching chat, but hopefully we'll have time for a couple of questions afterwards if you have any. And by all means, shoot me an email at any time with any questions. If you have students who do have a GED ready green score and have not taken the exam for that, then very quickly in beginning of April, Kaplan came to us and said, we'd like to offer rapid review for free to students who had a GED ready green score. We know that they're ready to test and we don't know when they're going to be able to test again. So we'd like to help them maintain their readiness. If you're not familiar with rapid review, it is on-demand video learning by content area. The videos are about an hour long, so they're fairly lengthy, but they are free to students to maintain that readiness. And then GED Flash has been around for quite some time. You can kind of think of it as sort of digital flashcards. We know the kind of feedback that we've gotten over time. The vast majority of students say they could really use more practice. And so we were able to develop the content around GED Flash with our official partners at Aztec Software. It is a standalone offer from them. What they've done is made GED Flash available to test takers or to organizations. And so if a test taker took it upon themselves to purchase limited use of it, when they do that, they get like 30 days access to it. They can use it on their phones, on their tablets, on computers, etc. What GED Aztec did was they extended that 30-day license, if you will, to 60 days. So they get 30 days free with GED Flash. GED Flash is also available to organizations. It's works similar to Aztec's curriculum online, or if you're familiar with the GED Academy from Essential Ed, where you purchase licenses and you can have concurrent users up to so many licenses. The advantage with that is that they do track, time in seats, so time on task, those kinds of things, so they can get credit for learning with the GED Flash for organizations. And then more recently, we launched GED Play, which are discrete mini lessons. They're videos, they're much shorter than the rapid review. That is available for organizations. So if you're looking to add content to your online learning, that might be another way to do that and help students maintain their readiness. GED Play is so new that we don't have a lot of data around it, but what we know about GED Flash is that students are experiencing a 1 to 2 zone increase when they take GED Ready, and they're experiencing on average a 4-point gain on their exams when they practice with GED Flash. Of course, the more you use it, the more confident you become, and the more likely that is to happen. I think the data is showing something like over 300 questions that they're exposed to, they see these kinds of gains on their GED exams. So the data on that is it's pretty solid. It's been consistent over time. We have some pretty good confidence that it's been helpful to students. For students, this is the rapid review screen they see when they log on to GED.com. It's right there. You scored green, get free rapid review, and they're going to see, when they click on the blue button, they're going to go to the rapid review website, and this is what they'll see to sort of take advantage of that time. I mentioned GED Flash already, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these screens, but just know that they get immediate feedback and rationale, et cetera, on each of those questions. And I mentioned some of the reporting features for you guys too. This is just GED Play. Again, they're targeted mini lessons, so not a lot of time to sit down for that. For you guys, if you click on the educator and admin webpage for GED.com, then you're going to see free resources on the left-hand side, and there's free classroom materials. If you just want to share with your students what the computer-based platform looks like, these are mini tutorials for them, both in English and Spanish for the computer-based test, as well as a tutorial for the calculator, so they can get more comfortable with what to expect when they're ready to test. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen, it says preview the test. There is a free practice test available to them if they just want some exposure to questions. And this is from your website, so the study guides are PDF. However, when they log on to their website and into their profile, the study guides are digital, and they can click on that information as well. So they'll see language arts, social studies, science, math at the top. They click on any of those tiles, and it will take them into a digital website to access all of that information. And there's the tiles. So I get a lot of questions about extended response. This has been pretty consistent for those of you who remember me from my HiSET days. The essay is always, you know, a point of question and curiosity, no matter what test they take. How do I, you know, respond to those essay questions better? And a few years back, we worked with Pro Literacy to develop these mini lessons for the essay for the GED exam. And so the first one is available at the bottom of the free resources or free classroom materials page. And then it's going to ask you if you want more videos. And honestly, when you click on that, if you haven't done it, it takes you over to YouTube, and all of those videos are there for you as well. These can be embedded into lessons, shared online, links to the lessons via email, Facebook, shared in your Zoom classes, that kind of thing. So there's many ways you can get those videos, but like I said, if you access it from our website, you click on more, it's going to take you right into YouTube for all of those videos. First week of April, we launched a link to our COVID-19 resources page. We really wanted to have a one-stop shop for everyone because we did have so many partners coming to us offering access to their curriculum and materials, etc. So you'll find a list of all of that information at that link if you haven't visited it. Anything that's offered by the publishers, a link to the webinar that we hosted on social distancing, mini lessons for math, the scientific calculator, extended response. Again, all of those links are there, and those are free, those mini lessons. There's one called Light and Salt, and it is just a web page with a number of mini lessons for math and calculator tutorials above and beyond the tutorial that's available on our website. If you are not getting our newsletter, I highly recommend that you take a moment to sign up for it. This is where we're trying to share as much information as we can around updated resources, new resources, updates on testing availability, and things like that. And so we'd like to stay in touch with you as efficiently as possible. Feel free to sign up on our website for that newsletter. And I think that was a marathon round. We're right at 2:30, but I'm gonna hang out with you if you have a few minutes still as well. If you have any questions, feel free. Tiara, I'm not sure if we've muted everybody, if we want to use the chat function for questions.
Yes, so everyone is muted. However, they can enter the questions in the chat box and I can relay them for you.
Okay, And I see the chat box too, so that's great. Thank you.
All right, so if you have any questions, go ahead and enter them in the chat box so that Jonna can address them for you.
And while I'm waiting on that, I'm just going to go ahead. We have time for questions. As long as you'll have me, I'll stick around with you. But I just also wanted to offer you my contact information again. So there's my phone number and my email address. And I am more than happy to answer any questions that come up for you at any time, whether it's regarding this information. Maybe I've piqued your curiosity about Prep Connect, or certainly didn't answer questions because, you know, as I mentioned, we are taking a look at some additional professional development to kind of help students get better prepared for those hot spots that people are experiencing. So take that too.
All right, Jonna, we have one.
I saw that. Yes, regarding accommodations. So I've only been on the GED team for a couple months. It feels like I guess it's been a little bit longer, but I do understand. I've been well aware that it's easier to get accommodations approved with HiSET for quite some time. I don't have a lot of insight for you today, but it is something that I'm going to take back with me so that I can get more familiar and have an opportunity to share that out with you guys. Okay.
All right, I don't see anything else. The webinars that Jonna mentioned, the extension webinars, we are looking to host those in June, just FYI, so that you all will be looking forward to those. They'll be similar to those HiSET webinars that were offered with content specific information. So be looking out for those in June.
So thank you, Tara. Thanks for mentioning that timeline as well. And there is a question around when can we let students know that they can take a GED test remotely? What I would tell you is that we are actually going to proactively let them know. They will get an email from GED with an invitation to take the test. It will include a link that they'll have to click in order to register. They will only qualify for the test that is linked to the link. So the link that's provided in the email is tied to them as the tester and the subject that they qualify for, whether it was because the test was canceled previously or they have a GED Ready green score. So they won't be able to forward that link to anyone and share it and pass it around because it is unique to that particular tester and what they qualify to test for. So I would say I wouldn't necessarily say, you know, tell folks that it's open and they can go online and schedule for remote testing. Certainly if you have testing available at your local test center, that would be important to share with them. But if they are wondering how they can qualify to take it remotely, then they'll definitely want to spend the time to get ready. They'll need to take a GED Ready practice test, and then they will you know, fit that qualifying criteria just based on that. Knowing that the GED Ready is going to be qualified, I would be looking for a promotion around that. We know that it can be, you know, there is a cost tied to it. So there will be a reduced cost for testers to be able to qualify through the GED Ready green score. There, for testing, there isn't anything that the instructor has to do necessarily other than, you know, if your students are like, I want to take a test and they're not sure how to qualify. For example, they might be looking at college admissions, but they're still going to need a green score on the GED Ready test to qualify. So that kind of thing might be helpful for them to understand and make plans to do that. If you are a program that buys vouchers for GED Ready for your students, then certainly your source for those vouchers, the other publishers that have partnered with us to make those available, from what I understand, that's going to be the best price for you as well. Any other questions? Well, don't be shy, even if you just want to drop in and say hello. I'd love to hear from you. And please do feel free to reach out with any questions that maybe didn't occur to you or you didn't want to mess with the chat today. And I'm, as always, available to you on anything I can help you with. Okay. Tara, thank you so much for making arrangements for this webinar. I certainly appreciate it. Look forward to speaking with you guys again soon.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and all of the wonderful information that was shared. We will talk to you guys later. You all continue to take care, and thank you again for all of your hard work. Have a good one.